Hi, this is Emily Ainali of T Girl Angel. I'm going to start working on a series of podcasts, and I think having some form of communication with my fans on my music webpage is good. It's positive. I have uh, found that creating and expressing my feelings in an open forum is helpful not only to myself but to people in general. I think we learn from each other, to be honest with you, and I'm going to do a series of podcasts. I plan to do video podcasts and also speaking podcasts. Um, to be honest with you, I am not quite sure how you kind of decipher what is actually a podcast. Because in theory, any YouTube video I did, you can construe as a podcast. But I'm going to kind of structure each podcast that I do with an intended purpose, like a vision, a plan, and I'm going to coordinate it with my Facebook, maybe create a specific Facebook page just for my podcasts so I can share it with people. Um, I also wish to talk about things going on personally that I'm affected by, and also about things in general. Hopefully, I will strike a nerve with some of you out there, and hopefully, you know that whatever I do, it's from my heart, as I am very sincere in everything that I do. I do it with a lot of um, thinking. I always want to talk about things that I feel are relevant and that will hopefully help someone. Um, we just had a nice holiday celebration. My family, my son came home for the holidays, and my son struggles with autism, and obviously, I have my own struggles as a transgender woman, and it's not easy, but I'm trying to cope and do the best that I can, and also be there for my son. I think that we all have to find ways to deal with the things that are most difficult in our life. And my son is going to be 17 now in December. I can't believe it. He's going to be 17 in less than a week. And he's having a rough time of, I guess, growing older, becoming a young man, and facing the realities of life. We all have to kind of find ourselves. And I try to go back to when I was his age and what life was like for me. And I remember being scared and anxious about my own future, not really knowing what I wanted to do with my life. And I sympathize with my son. And growing up with challenges is not easy. Um, you have to kind of find ways to find your level of comfort. When I was in high school, I was very shy, withdrawn, but I had some support. I had a coach who was helpful to me, and he got me through some tough times. Uh, when I was 17, my mother was in the hospital many times for depression, and my coach kind of helped me through that by allowing me the opportunity of being a runner on his cross country team. And it was the best experience of my life. And it helped me to grow and mature. And I think that's important, that you find something in your life that gives you a sense of value and purpose. And I think my son has a lot to offer. I know he does. But he's not really focused on something that will help him to feel more uh, happier, to give him a sense of who he is, an identity. I needed to rely on my cross country running experience to kind of give me an identity. I struggled all my life, as I've said in the past numerous times, with my own gender. I knew in my heart I was a girl, even though I was born a boy, and I was trying desperately to fight my feelings and try to live the normal so-called life that any boy should. Um, but I was dressing secretly in private. But when I started cross-country running and I was focused on my schoolwork, it didn't allow me the opportunity to dwell on what was bothering me. And I think that's what is going on with my son, is he doesn't have that escape. You know, he's focused on learning in his school. He goes to a special school quite a distance away, over 6 hours. And he's focused and he's trying his best. But he doesn't have an outlet really. And anything that he does, he's pretty much alone. I mean, I tried to encourage him to make friends and all, and he's on a campus setting, so you know he has that opportunity to be with other kids in his age group, and you know he at times gets frustrated because he lives quite a distance from us, but he hopefully will mature from the experience. That's all I can hope for. Um, I know when I was in high school, I did have a good experience living away from home in the summer, where I attended a running camp and also worked in the kitchen crew as a waiter at the camp. And it was a learning experience, and it helped me grow, and it gave me confidence, and it also helped me with my training regimen. And I needed that in my life. I needed direction. And I think most kids growing up today are trying to find their way and direction, and finding out who you are is something that is vital and very critical. And we all need to know that our lives have some sense of value. And, you know, the only way we can do that is to apply ourselves and learn and cope and do. We need to find ourselves. We need to look into our soul and dig deep I was 17 and I knew I was going to go to college. My parents enforced that. So I knew that I had something to look forward to. I had to figure out what it was that I was going to do with my life. Um, and nothing is set in stone. You know, I had plans to study in a very technical oriented program, engineering, and then I eventually gravitated to accounting. So nothing is set in stone. You try to find what it is that makes you feel comfortable and allows you to grow. And now I'm not even remotely near what I studied in college, technically and business wise, as I now am more on the creative spectrum with my spoken word and my writings and my music. So I prefer this now, being more of a creative force. I am enjoying my uh, ventures as T Girl Angel. I take pride in everything I do associated with T Girl Angel. And if you listen to all my spoken word poetry and my recordings, I always end it by identifying myself as Emily Ionelli of T Girl Angel because I feel that's my personal signature. Like an artist who draws and paints, they always put their signature on their piece. So, in a sense, I'm also putting my signature on my recording by identifying myself. I don't know much about that aspect of my creative side other than just wanting people to know who I am. I don't know many artists who do that. So it kind of makes me unique, I guess, in a way, sets me apart from others. Sometimes I wonder if I should do it, but now it's become such a part of me that I feel compelled to do it. Um, but I think the beauty of being and doing and enjoying what you like to do makes for a happier person. And I think we all want to be fulfilled and find true happiness in our life. We all are looking to make our lives better. And I think sharing our thoughts and ideas is helpful and it will lend to maybe us touching someone out there who needs to find a way to deal with their own problems. I know my own struggles have taken me on a different road, a different path. And if I had the forethought or if I knew how to address my feelings as a younger child and a young adult, I probably wouldn't have been so confused. Uh, Being transgender is not an easy situation to be in. And I've always struggled with that my whole life. So I know what my son is going through being autistic. And I try to help him and teach him. And I have lots of patience. And I just want to see him do well and find his happiness. Life is challenging, and we sometimes don't always know what we want, but we should never lose hope or lose sight of our dreams. Everybody has a dream, you know, it's part of growing up. You want to do whatever you feel you can in your life and make the best of it. You know, we all need to have some form of uh, finding who we are. Life is complicated. I know that. We all know that. But we also know that there's a lot of beauty in life. And we want to do the best that we can and share what our life is about and teach other people. And I think that's important, that we can communicate our feelings and help us to grow. And also, by sharing what we're going through and what our experiences are, we're also helping other people. And when I think of where I was and where I'm going, I find a certain amount. I take pride in what I'm doing. I enjoy being creative and writing and making albums. You know, I don't see myself becoming rich from it, but not many music artists become ultra famous and popular. But I feel I have a purpose and I like what I do. And even if I only touch one person, that will make me happy. My son, especially, if I could reach him and help him grow, he's my priority. You know, I need to reach my son and help him and show him the way, you know, and teach him about life and loving himself. It took me a long time to appreciate who I was and to come to terms with myself and to accept me. I went a whole life repressing, suppressing, denying. I hated what I was going through. I hated who I was. I couldn't accept it. And I was afraid to accept it. So I tried my best to live in the closet and live a life that I was supposed to as a boy, growing up into young manhood. And I married, and I'm happy. I love my wife, and I became a father, and I'm proud of my son. I love my son. He's my pride and joy. I would have loved to have another child, but I'm delighted with my son, and I wish it could be better for him. And, you know, it's not perfect, but I think that he knows I love him, and his mother loves him, and his grandmother. And we just try to do the best we can. That's all we can do. Just try to do the best we can. And that's what I'm trying to do for my son. To teach him and to tell him that all he needs to do in his life is just try to find his happiness and do the best that he can. that's really all we can do. That's what life is all about. Just trying to do the best we can. I don't have the answers. I don't know the mysteries. I don't know why we wind up doing what we do, or dealing with crisis, or feeling alone and lost, or struggle with depression, or gender identity, or autism. I don't know why. It just seems that we do. And there are people that have cancer. And there are people that, young children who die young. I don't know why. And people dying in car accidents. And people killing themselves, suicide or murder. I don't know what makes the world the way it is. I don't know why we have problems. I don't know why we have terrorism. I don't know why there's hate in the world. If only life was simple, you know? If only we could live the life that John Lennon imagined in his song. Imagine a world without war. A world with peace. A world with no separation of religion. A world that had a conscience. We want to live to be happy and enjoy who we are and live our lives to be true to who we are, right? That's what I'm doing. I'm not doing anything different, you know? I just want to be happy. Don't you? What would make you happy? If I ask you a question about your life, let's see, how would you answer it? What makes you happy? What allows you to feel good about yourself? I'm learning myself. I like to kind of address this in a new recording, a video. But if I were to answer the question myself personally, I would have to say what makes me happy, obviously, is having a family, having a son I love, being able to do something that I enjoy. I'm enjoying my spoken word. You know, I worked in an accounting firm, and I worked in a private company, but I didn't really enjoy it. I needed it to make my bills each month, to pay my mortgage, but I got sick. I had a breakdown. I attempted suicide. I went through a lot. But I'm coming out of that. I have no choice. I can't give up. I have a son who needs me. And I need him. And my family needs me. And I need them. I live my life because I have a beautiful family and a son who I adore. And I'll be here for as long as I can. Until next time, I love you guys. Bye.